When I got my period, it was a bit of a shock. I would hide my period bulge. I'm actually in menopause. I don't recall periods actually being discussed in film. Certainly not as much of a conversation as it should be, given that half the population of this country is women. I remember when I was in school, always worried that my clothes would get stained. And that's one of the, again, big taboos that I wish we could get rid of. I mean, what does it matter if your clothes get stained? But why is it such a shame? And I really wish I could maybe do a scene around that, around the stigma that we attach to a woman really literally being stained. So I'm not sure exactly how the scene would play out, but it would be something to do with a teenage girl in a co-educational school. I have been working since I was 20-something, 23, 24, and of course I've spent couple of decades working through having my period. Oftentimes it's, in fact, almost always it's when you're, at the most hectic point of your shoot or prep, and it's usually highly inconvenient. So yes, I do remember going WTF many times. I don't actually recall any particular incident, but I do know that many times when I've been shooting out in India, even in cities, it's really not the easiest to get to a clean toilet, and that has been my most enduring memory of having my period on shoot. Though, on recce's we've, traveled along many highways and jumped into various bushes along the way to try and avoid going to the public toilets. I guess that's par for the course if you're a woman. It's highly inconvenient, and this, fact that women have to struggle to find very clean, hygienic, sanitation anywhere that they work, it continues to be a problem. So that's something that I think sticks in my mind the most, the fact that I've always had to kind of make do with some sort of toilet wherever I'm working, and we really need to change that. Again, I have no idea why periods need to be a taboo topic. It's probably because we live in a very patriarchal society. I do know that in a lot of rural communities, women are often asked to stay away from the kitchen, or perhaps even not allowed to temples, to many parts of, possibly the home that people feel might be polluted by them. And this is something that has always distressed me, the idea that a woman having her period is necessarily polluting or unhygienic and therefore should not be allowed to be in various spaces. It's a very natural part of life, and it's just something that women have put up with, which I realize we should really be talking much more about, and empowering women to find their way into all these spaces that they've been kept out of. I think I got my period quite early. I was 12, and I think it was earlier than a lot of people around me were getting their period. I remember being very surprised by it, because actually no one had told me this. I do recall that another friend in my building had her period, and I couldn't quite understand what she was talking about. And when I got my period, it was a bit of a shock. And it was that same evening that my mother sat me down and kind of told me the facts of life. I was really excited. I was like, really? This is very interesting. As the years go by, you kind of like have your moments when you really wish you were over them. But that first time when I got them, it was both a shock and quite an excited surprise for me. They're a wonderful period in your life when you are fertile and you're becoming a woman, and there's lots of life ahead of you. So, you have to sort of make friends with this very natural part of your growth. Menopause, again, is one of those stages of a woman's life, I think, that we don't talk enough about and don't know enough about. There's not even adequate research, really, around what a woman is actually going through. It's a really huge change in a woman's body, and different women have different symptoms. I'm actually in menopause, and I didn't really read about the symptoms of perimenopause till I was already in it. I didn't have some of the more distressing symptoms, but I had a lot of insomnia, sometimes have greater fatigue, your muscle mass reduces pretty quickly. A lot of these things we are not aware of till we're already in it. So it's another one of those stages that we really need to make women much more aware of, so that they can, sort of get the help if they have a lot of problems with perimenopause. I've never actually used a menstrual cup, and I think it's a brilliant idea. If I had the option when I was younger, I would have definitely used it. It seems to me the most sustainable way to actually go through 20 years of your life, because you're constantly worrying about, will I run out of pads, or is my tampon falling out of me? Do I need to change? And it's all so much easier for a woman to handle, and it's all within her own sort of control, and it's so much cheaper. I would definitely try it if I was still having my period. I think this is a really important intervention. I think that what Sirona is doing can really change lives in a very day-to-day practical way and make so many women free, empowered. I think that this campaign that Sirona has started is a really crucial intervention. It's going to make women aware of the options that they have. They can, try out menstrual cups, they can try out period panties. Women go through so much pain and anxiety through their period, and it's wonderful that there is this campaign that's going to free them and empower them to feel like they have the tools in their own hands to, have a happy period. I think if men had periods, there would be definitely much cheaper alternatives for pads and cups and everything else. There would definitely be better research into how to make it pain-free. There wouldn't be the stigma of staining. It might even be something that would be a badge of honor. One of the most uncomfortable periods of my life was when I was going through IVF and trying to conceive. It's a very difficult time for a woman. It can be anxiety-inducing. It can be very demoralizing because you tend to blame yourself when it fails. There's a lot of hormone treatment that then your body has to deal with. It was a difficult patch, and I do hope that a lot of women who are going through this have the support systems that they need. People think that it's quite easy, but only the woman who's actually going through, injections every day, failure when the report comes through, really know how it feels to have IVF. Why I'm doing this video is because I feel it's important to talk about our periods. As women, we need to share what we go through, and I really think that these subjects, which are supposedly taboo, need to be spoken boldly in society. I'm comfortable to tell you an uncomfortable period of my life, because every share of this video is going to give a period cup to a woman and help her out of period poverty and help her flow with dignity.